No, it's not Rudy from Alpha Investments, but everybody else seems to be stealing his folks intro. And so here I am, the Collectibles dad is here, going to talk about my 2025 Pokemon card investing strategy. Yes, I've been watching Rudy from Alpha Investments for years and years, and I know it's not just Pokemon, it's also Magic the Gathering, but he has just been always telling the same stories over and over and over, and the thing I've noticed really over time is he just happens to be right a lot of the times. And if I go back, I actually binged a lot of his older videos over the last couple of weeks here on holiday break, and a lot of the stuff he was talking about 7, 8 years ago, it has come to pass, kind of the hunches about Pokemon. Those are some interesting videos to rewatch going back in time. Because as far as trading card games go, of course, he's a Magic guy, but then got into Pokemon over the last, 8, 9, 10 years because he saw that, man, they were really doing a lot of things right, and he wanted to have exposure into the Pokemon card market. And of course, Rudy, yes, he's got singles and different things that he's got scattered, but the majority of his holdings, it's sealed product. He's a sealed product guy. And so today I'm going to talk about a little bit of a zag. I'm not exactly doing what everybody else is doing, and I think it's going to be a benefit as we move down the road. I'm going to share with you, and I want to hear your comments because I want to learn from you all as well. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. So I know when it comes to kind of modern Pokemon card investing, it's all about ultra modern product. It's all about the new releases coming out. Ideally, you have a hookup where you can get it in at the retail price at initial pricing, 80, 90 bucks a box or whatever it is. And then over time, the stuff just goes up as you hold it. That's kind of really all it is. That's really the main strategy with sealed product. I'm doing it a little bit differently in the sense that I'm okay paying a little bit more for Sword and Shield. We'll use Sword and Shield as an example. Here's a couple of boxes that I recently picked up, and it's the Vivid Voltage stuff. The one thing I like about Sword and Shield, a lot of it was produced before the print runs went really ballistic. And I know what a lot of people will say, hey, demand is there. Demand is there for all this stuff. You know, they make more product. There's a lot of rip and ships. You know, there is tremendous demand. So even though they're printing it and then they're reprinting a lot of it, that's okay because it's still going to hold up. And that very well might be true. So I don't want to dog people that are just buying the new product and holding it because that might be just as good of a play as well. I don't know if there's any right or wrong. I'm looking at this from a long-term perspective. So I'm looking to buy up over the next few years, hold it over the next 10, 15, 20 years, and eventually sell it. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you here too. I am not someone that has nostalgia for Pokemon. I have a younger brother, actually 6 years younger than me, and he was in that Pokemon era. He was there in 1999. He was buying packs and so forth. I was before Pokemon. I'm 43 now, so I was more into sports cards and other collectibles, action figures, and that sort of a thing. So I don't have nostalgia for this stuff. I don't feel the need to open the product. I'm not going to be sitting there like, oh man, I need to open this product because I hope to get a Charizard or whatever. I am strictly looking at this as a money thing. It's just a simple buy it at this price, sell it down the road at another price. Again, where I'm zagging a little bit as opposed to putting money into kind of the new-ish products, I'm going to go back in time a little bit. I'm okay spending a little bit more to get Sword and Shield, to go back and get some stuff that might be, XY or EX. I even want to also add some of the vintage blister packs. I'm betting on the fact that even though, if we go back and it's the 1999, maybe it's Fossil packs or it's Jungle or whatever it is, even though those packs don't necessarily have huge chase cards or hit cards like the newer products do, I'm banking on the fact that those blister packs are going to have a similar kind of nostalgia down the road for people, the same way that action figures do for people that have grown up and they really like action figures that are in the box, and they will pay up to make sure that they've got the stuff that's in the box because it's the box art and it's all the rest of it. I am betting that there's also going to be that as well for blister packs of older vintage Pokemon cards. The other part of that equation is the vintage booster boxes, of course, are very expensive, and I don't want to take the risk of buying into a vintage booster box of Pokemon cards, and maybe it's $10,000, let's just say, $10,000, $15,000. I save up and I buy it. And I don't know if they're full of G.I. Joe cards. Logan Paul showed us that going back a couple of years where he bought very expensive boxes that ended up having G.I. Joe cards inside. So I don't want to deal with that, especially in an age where CT scanning has become a thing. I'm really hoping the CT scanning side of the hobby goes to more of just making sure that the cards inside the box are the actual product that was originally sold, just to make sure that if you are holding vintage booster boxes or vintage sports cards or whatever it might be, that the actual stuff in the box is what it's supposed to be. I think that's where CT scanning can actually be a value add for the hobby, as opposed to using it to look for the one of one or look for the gold prism or whatever. So it's not to say that I won't buy any of the newer stuff. Maybe I'll change my mind and add in some of the other stuff. I wouldn't mind adding some Scarlet and Violet. But again, the risk that I'm seeing with the newer product is there's a lot of people like me now. It's not just, Rudy from Alpha Investments. There's a lot of people like me that are buying and holding sealed product for the eventual purpose of selling it off. And the print runs for Pokemon cards have gone up a lot, exponentially, over the last 3 years. Since the pandemic, Pokemon Company came out and did say, hey, we're going to increase print runs so that people aren't getting in and scalping the stuff and all that, which they're going to do that anyway. But the demand for Pokemon cards is just so high for that new product. Like we talked about, there's the rip and ships, there's people that are holding sealed, there's people that are just opening the stuff, sending it off to PSA to get it graded. The demand is probably highest now than it ever has been, even probably going back to when it was released in 1999. And there was a huge Pokemon craze going back to the late 90s. I remember it. A really hot modern set right now is Evolving Skies. It's got some great cards in it. And of course, if you get kind of the best cards in a PSA 10, they can sell for huge money. The booster boxes have gone up to about $1,000 for Evolving Skies. I want some exposure into Evolving Skies. And so what I've done is I'm focused, again, just like with the vintage blister packs, I want the 3 blister pack. And I recently got this at about $70 shipped each, which if you add up kind of the amount of money it is for the packs compared to what it would be to buy the booster box, it's about the same price, except I don't have to put $1,000 into the booster box. I can put $150 into a couple of these 3-pack blisters, and I don't have as much money in it. So I'm able to get in at a lower price and get some exposure to Evolving Skies. And that's really where I'm looking to with a lot of the booster box versus 3-pack blister packs. I like the blister packs. It's not to say that there's some huge value buying into the blister packs, but again, I'm going to go back to the fact that if I'm buying booster boxes on the secondary market, again, anytime you have a lot of money that comes into a market, you're going to have little weasels come in and they're going to mess with this stuff. It makes me a little bit nervous, even if the stuff is sealed. Again, people can reseal boxes, they can do all sorts of stuff. And I don't want to have tons of exposure in aftermarket booster boxes unless it's coming directly from a distributor or something. But the 3-pack blister packs, they're really hard to mess with, but it's very difficult to break into the 3-pack blister pack package and then take the cards out and put it back in and then make the whole thing look nice again. It's very difficult to do that. And again, I'm going to go back to the action figure example where I just think that people are going to like the art moving forward. And again, we're talking 10, 15, 20 years down the road. I think that the blister packs are going to be popular. I think they're going to hold up because of that box art, just like they have with pop culture action figures. So I'm really trying to go back in time a little bit. Not to say that I'm not interested in looking at Scarlet and Violet, maybe 151 or whatever the new thing is, the new crazy thing is. But where I'm focusing my attention first is really Sword and Shield era and then going backwards and just trying to pick my spots there. Because it does seem like when I'm watching Pokemon card investing, in quotation marks, channels, all of the energy is on the brand new stuff. Stuff that has been released over the last 12 to 18 months. Buying and selling those booster boxes, and I'm not interested in selling. I'm really just interested in building up kind of an arsenal of this stuff, sealed product over time, and again, selling it off down the line. All right, friends, let me know your thoughts. What are you doing? How are you getting into this? Are you doing something similar to me? Are you doing it completely different? I would love to hear your thoughts. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.